Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with a deep dive about Elçin and Barış. All the details are in this video. If you enjoy it, please hit the like button and subscribe. You can also support the channel by clicking the join button below. Thank you, and let's get into the video. The Turkish entertainment world loves a triangle, not the dramatic kind you see in scripts, but the softer, more complicated triangle of friendship, work, and public perception. Few names illustrate that better than Elçin Sangu, Barış and Gupse. Each of them stands firmly on their own, acclaimed projects, huge fan bases, and very different artistic voices. Yet every few months, the same rumor resurfaces like a wave returning to shore. Is Elçin secretly upset, or even jealous, about the marriage of Barış and Gupse? Let's be clear from the very beginning, we are dealing with speculation. No one here has issued a press release confessing to envy, nor has any verified source produced evidence of tension. What we do have is the classic celebrity rumor cycle, a few ambiguous images, a handful of social media moments, a couple of offhand quotes, and a mountain of interpretation built on top. Today, we'll walk through how that narrative formed, why it keeps returning, and what the more likely explanations might be, while keeping the names the same and the facts as respectful as possible. First, context. Elçin Sangu rose to nationwide recognition with memorable television roles, often portraying complex women who carry both lightness and iron in equal measure. Barış, with his mix of charm and quiet intensity, became a leading man audiences connect with easily. They are remembered fondly for the chemistry they created on screen, the kind of shared rhythm that makes scenes feel effortless even when you know they took hours of rehearsal. Gupse, meanwhile, built a completely different empire, actor, writer, creator, a comedic mind with her own brand of honesty. When Gupse and Barış married, it wasn't a fandom-shattering twist so much as a consolidation of two strong careers and a private partnership that had already earned loyalty from those who follow them. So where does the "Elçin is jealous" talk come from? Usually, it begins with a moment that means little on its own, a photo of Elçin leaving an event early, a quote about focusing on work, a hairstyle change right before a new project, a shot of her walking past a florist without smiling. Out of context, none of these signify anything. In the amplified world of celebrity interpretation, however, each becomes a tile in a mosaic. She's reinventing herself because she misses a certain kind of partnership, or she posted this late at night, coded message. The timeline is built backward, the conclusions precede the evidence. To complicate things further, Elçin is famously private about her personal life. She rarely comments on relationships. She almost never frames her career choices as reactions to anyone else's. That silence is a blank space, and blank spaces invite projection. When someone chooses not to feed the public narrative, fans and tabloids often fill it for them. That's not a criticism of audiences, it's simply how the attention economy works. The quieter a star keeps the door, the louder speculation knocks. There's also the nostalgia factor. When two actors create a memorable on-screen pairing, fans continue to see that pairing long after the director yells cut on the final episode. Entire online communities form around imagined futures for those characters, and, by extension, their actors. When real life takes a different path, disappointment can harden into stories that explain the difference. She must be sad about what could have been. He married someone else. She must feel left behind. In reality, art doesn't obligate life to follow its map. People collaborate, move on, circle back, or don't. Friendships remain, evolve, or fade according to real human rhythms rather than fan timelines. Now, let's break down the three most popular narratives that circulate whenever this topic trends, and examine how each holds up. Narrative 1: Elçin is jealous of Barış and Gupse's marriage. This version usually leans on images of Elçin appearing pensive, a selective line from an interview about wanting stability, or an old clip where she and Barış share a laugh. It suggests a competition that none of the individuals have acknowledged. The problem with this reading is that it assumes a woman's ambition or mood must orbit a man's relationship status. Elçin has been very consistent about anchoring her identity in craft. When roles land, it's because they fit her vision. When they don't, she passes. Admitting that she values love and long-term commitment doesn't equate to envying someone else's marriage. Adults can want partnership for themselves without resenting the partnerships of friends. Narrative 2, Elçin and Gupse are rivals. This one tends to appear when both women release projects around the same season. It implies that two high-profile women cannot coexist without friction. Yet when you examine their careers side by side, the lanes are different. Elçin's hallmark is dramatic nuance framed by romantic tension. Gupse's hallmark is socially observant comedy created with strong authorial control. Their professional toolkits overlap in talent and discipline, but their paths diverge in tone and intention. Rivalry is the least interesting interpretation when the more obvious truth is mutual respect for different crafts. Narrative 3, there's no jealousy at all, the public is projecting. Of the three, this is the most plausible. It explains the lack of direct evidence and honors what we actually see: occasional cordial interactions, no public jabs, no messy subtext. It also matches the industry pattern we've watched for years: stars build long careers by protecting their private lives from becoming the engine of their public lives. When either of the three chooses to share personal news, it's on their terms and usually tied to a milestone they want to celebrate, not a rumor they feel forced to answer. So why does the rumor keep returning? Because it offers a simple, emotionally charged story where the real story is complicated and, frankly, less clickable. The real story is three artists at different stages of life balancing work, family, and expectation in an industry that never stops asking for more. The real story is that fulfillment can take different forms. Marriage for some, solitude or friendship or experimentation for others, and those forms can change over time without betraying who someone is. There's another piece we often forget: shipping culture. Viewers aren't wrong to sense chemistry. Chemistry is part of the job. Actors are tasked with building believable intimacy on a schedule, under lights, with microphones, and a dozen people standing just out of frame. When they do it well, you believe. But professional chemistry is a craft, not a promise. It begins in table reads, grows through mutual trust, and blossoms under a director's eye. You, the audience, are supposed to root for what you're seeing, that's the point. Confusing that craft with an obligation to mirror it in real life leads to disappointment where none is necessary. Let's also talk media literacy for a second. A single paparazzi photo is not a story. A cropped screenshot is not a confession. A fan account compiling clues from different years is not a timeline. We can enjoy the spectacle of guessing without losing sight of the basic rules: verify, contextualize, and remember consent. If someone chooses not to comment, that choice is not aggression. It's simply a boundary. Where does this leave Elçin? In a strong position, actually. A performer who can let roles speak for her while declining to turn private life into a perpetual news cycle is someone who knows her value. Where does it leave Barış and Gupse? In a marriage that they have consistently kept dignified. They share what they want, when they want, and withdraw when necessary. That discipline is not only healthy, it's wise. It keeps the focus on the work, on the projects they pour themselves into, on the audiences they aim to move. And where does it leave the rest of us? With the joy of rewatching the performances that made these names beloved, and with the responsibility to consume entertainment news like grown-ups. It's possible to celebrate a past on-screen partnership between Elçin and Barış, cheer for Gupse's creative wins, and still respect that the only people qualified to narrate their personal dynamics are the people living them. If, one day, any of them chooses to tell a different story, if Elçin shares a new chapter in her personal life, if Barış and Gupse post a milestone they want the world to see, if all three appear together in a project that makes fans nostalgic, that will be their announcement to make. Until then, the kindest, most accurate headline is the quiet one: three professionals, many successes, separate paths, mutual regard. I want to hear from you. Which project first made you a fan of Elçin Sangu's work? What role showed you a new side of Barış Arduç? Which film or script of Gupse Özay's made you laugh the most? Drop your answers in the comments, and keep the conversation generous. No personal attacks, no armchair diagnoses, just love for the art that brought all of us here. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed this analysis and want more thoughtful breakdowns of industry rumors and reality, tap like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Take care, and goodbye.